Here you go. The Primarchs Listen to Strinstorm by Darker Wizard. Primarchs receive an unexpected summons from their father, the Emperor Meng. Will they be able to prevent the grim future before them, or will the outpoint entirely and create a tragically self-fulfilling prophecy on the temple? Chapter 1. It was mere months since the Master Monk elevated his son, Horace Lupercal, to the position of War Master at the Imperium. Mere months since the Emperor returned to Terra to labor in secret on the human webway. Time that had passed was insignificant to the eternal beings that were the Primarchs, and yet the Emperor called them to come into the cradle of humanity itself. This was unheard of, while the Emperor, of course it is, 20 demigods in a galaxy that needs to be conquered. Called his child away from the endless war on the Great Crusade. He had never called them in their entirety. It was with a great sense of foreboding that the Benzels some of the children docked, each one fearing the worst. This sense of dread quickly melted into confusion when 19 sons of the Emperor, who had not been expunged, entered the throne room to see a cadre of tech priests installing a screen under the watchful gaze of the Emperor himself. Upon noting his son's presence, the Emperor smiled to himself. My sons, I have called you here in a matter of great importance. The mechanics have prepared a set of audio discs that I believe hold relevance to the future of the Imperium. These matters are of pressing importance to each of you in required. I have only had the time to review one tape, but it has convinced me that the situation is dire. Magnus, ever the seeker of knowledge, was unwilling to simply accept his father's explanation, and so it was with a quizzical tone that the Crimson King spoke. Father, surely these tapes are as important as they may be. Cannot take priority over the crusade. I do not wish to abandon my sons in the frivolous matters. If the Emperor was aware of the subtle reproach in his son's words, he had the good grace not to acknowledge it. Magnus' brother, on the other hand, had snarled at the perceived disrespect. The Wolf King had never cared for his brother and judged his very world with suspicion. Go away. This is why you do this inside. But anyway, read it yourself if you want to get the whole thing. It's really good. These tapes relate to the future, and the subject matter is grim. I do not know what could lead to the events that I have heard, but I fear they are the fruit of an attack upon the greatest hope of the Imperium. All of you, for that reason, we must coordinate our defense here without the deficiencies of astropathic communication diluting the message. Now take your seats. He gestured to the thrones that had been erected and surrounding his own, one for each of the Primarchs. I shall not be present for the first viewing, as I must consult with the sigil. I will return shortly. The Emperor was gone to fetch his oldest friend. The Primarchs, with no further outlet for their questioning, slumped into their thrones and turned to the screen, prepared to do as their father had bid them. Episode 1, done.